Are we recording?
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea. I thought you were testing again.
No.
You should do it again.
You want to do it again?
Yeah, do it again.
Why?
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Invincible Podcast, probably the best superhero podcast in the universe. This is a show where friends get to sit around and talk all things Invincible, a comic book by Robert Kirkman. Now, on today's episode, we're going to be talking all about the newest issue to come out. That's issue 131, and joining me for that is Bill.
Greetings.
And TJ.
Hello.
Now, how are you guys doing?
Excited. I'm eager to talk.
Eager to talk about it?
This.
We haven't talked at all about this.
No.
For those of you that are listening, this episode should be live on Friday, Black Friday. We are recording the night before Thanksgiving, so hopefully everybody, all of our American listeners, had a great Thanksgiving yesterday, and you're not getting trampled by shoppers today. What are you guys doing for Thanksgiving?
Just splitting it up between the family. Liz's family, my family.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 dinners. I'll be catatonic. Is that a word?
Yeah.
I'll be that.
By the end
of
of
the
the night.
night, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
You go to your parents' house, TJ?
Yep, normal stuff.
Mm-hmm. Katie and I are actually hosting all of it at our house this year. Normally we go to 2 places.
Are you cooking too?
We're not doing a lot of the cooking. We're doing some of it.
People
but
are bringing the food to your house.
Yeah.
Who's bringing the turkey?
We're having 2. We're doing 1 and Katie's mom's doing the other.
We did that last year, except we cooked 2. We deep fried 1.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It
That's
was
cool.
really good.
Yeah.
It was scary the whole time. It was terrifying.
24 people. I don't know how we're going to do it.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Is your dad coming in?
No, we're just doing like my side and Katie's side. Normally we would go to both places, but, I think, this will be easier this year, just having it all in one place. It's going to be nice to not have to leave the house to go somewhere.
Right.
But, so a little housekeeping stuff before we get into the new issue. I wanted to remind everybody that you can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. You can email us. We actually got an awesome email from Bo earlier today, actually, a fan of Invincible and the podcast who creates his own Invincible action figures. It's pretty cool. I'll have to, repost them on the Twitter page or something. And we're thinking of trying to do something where we get other fans of Invincible to have a presence on the show, maybe more closer to the, final 12 issues, have a guest, or a fan spotlight kind of thing. But we're still working on that. And, remember, you can email us at theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com. And
yeah, so in other words, if you want to be part of, whatever kind of format we're going to do, send us an email. So we have your email address, your contact information, and we'll reach out to you. Something along those lines, right?
Yeah, we'll see. We're still kind of working on it, but,
Yeah.
We'd like to hear from other fans and, kind of get their experiences with Invincible, especially towards the final 12 issues, like having those, talking to people about what their favorite moments were, who their favorite characters are, how they started Invincible, and all that kind of stuff. So we're excited to start doing that soon, too. We've got the probably Astounding Wolfman episode coming out in a little while.
When's the next issue coming out? Are we getting 2 in?
We don't really
know. So yeah,
that's
the other thing. Well, the nice thing is, I guess this kind of goes into this topic too of kind of,
if you
news.
If you go to the Image site, it says that Invincible is coming out certain weeks that it is not coming out, because it said that with the next issue that we were going to get 2 issues in December, but then Ottley posted on Twitter that his first issue back will be in February, which is 33. So we're obviously not getting 2 issues in December.
Yeah,
it would be 1 a month, essentially.
No, it would be 1 in December, or
right,
1 in January.
No.
Or 1 in January, and then 33 in February.
Yeah, because all we have is, we know, that's the nice thing about this. For Image's 25th anniversary, they're doing
25 cents.
Yeah, 25-cent issues, and one of those is Invincible 133 to be released in February. What
they're doing is all Robert Kirkman titles.
So in February, we know that in February, issue 133 is out. So the nice thing about this whole thing is that I don't think they're going to push back 133. Because it's 25 cents, because of the February anniversary, issue 133 has to be in February. which means that issue 132 has to be between now and February. So whether it's December, whether it's January, either way, it's going to be out within the next 2 months. So,
or 3.
You think it could be in February right before?
It could be beginning of February. It could be, you know what I mean? Like the issue 133 could come out February 28th. You know what I mean? We don't know.
Yeah. I guess you're right. Well, one thing that's cool about the 25-cent issue in February is that, and I heard about this. Remember last time they did a 25-cent issue? It was
117.
It was like right at the
When
they got
left
to
Earth,
Telescria.
yeah.
And, I saw somebody.
It was the first comic that they changed the covers.
Yes. Yeah. The new style. It's him flying with Terra.
Yep.
I don't know if I read it in Penvincipals or somewhere else, but somebody said that what they did is they gave their comic shop like $5 in advance for their comic shop guy to order 20 issues and just give them to people. I think I'm going to do that. I'll give my comic shop guy.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm going to give my comic shop guy $5 so he orders 20 extra, and you know how they normally slip like previews or something else in with whatever they walk away with? Yeah, just give people a bunch of, and this is the first part of the finale, the 12
parts. But I mean, even
who would you give it to?
No, I'm saying the comic book shop guy would give it to people just like previews.
But you said you're going to do that?
No, I'm going to give my comic shop guy $5,
and he's going to buy you a bunch of them,
and order enough for me to cover that cost, and he'll give them out to people.
And people will be like, "What is this? What is this?" Robert Kirkman. I don't know who Robert Kirkman is, and I go back.
And that was the idea with doing it for the other one. I mean, this one, it's kind of like, hey, you're here for the end.
So if you're reading the podcast in the future and you're wondering why you got slipped that extra comic, it's because Ryan Sidoti paid for it.
Or
first of all, if you're reading the podcast, kudos, because I don't know how you're doing it.
Somebody transcribed.
Some people are deaf.
And they're reading it?
I'm sorry.
Do we transcribe the podcast? Is this what you're doing on your off time?
There are apps.
We don't even have video. I didn't know you were writing it out.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry for our audience members that had to hear that. Or see that. That read that.
That read that. Okay.
Red Dead, Bad Dead.
All right, let's get into the new issue, guys. This is issue 131. And talk a little bit about the cover. We saw the cover before. I dig this cover. I think it's pretty cool. It kind of shows what's to come. And I love the tag on the bottom of it. Truth is, this cover is a spoiler. Should have gone with the one that was just hands.
Yeah.
So, one quick observation that I had, and I don't know if either of you picked up your print copy yet. I know we all get it digitally as well, but the print copy had 0 ads or anything in the back. It was the last page, and then Penvincipals, and then the back of the comic. It was almost like they were like, get that out the door, get it printed. We have no time to put any of that marketing material in it. Just get it out. And it was very interesting. I've never seen a comic like that where there was nothing in the back. This comic was so
quick to where like not much in the way of story happened, but it was just all fighting and craziness.
It was like reading comic
that I
books
didn't even notice it because I was reading it so quickly.
Yeah. So I guess let's just do this because this issue has pretty much 2 scenes. General opinions. I mean, Bill,
I would like to go first.
All right, TJ, go.
Okay. My opinion on this entire comic from beginning to end.
And then we're going to go beginning to end. Like, we'll go through it in detail, but just a general.
Right. I thought that it was awesome. I think we needed something like a crazy fight. It's been a while. Even Ottley was saying, part of the reason why he was struggling with his with the comic was because he wanted to do more things like this, and it was kind of getting stale with just Telescria and just like all stories. So we needed something like this. It was quick, but I'm fine with that. The ending, we'll talk about the ending later as we get down the road, but I wasn't a fan of the ending, and I think that what happens next is unbearably obvious, so I hope I'm wrong. But we'll talk about that later.
Okay, Bill?
I agree. I feel like it read a lot like when I was reading The Road.
The fucking Road. If you haven't read The Road, go read The Road.
But when you're reading The Road, you feel like you're rushing and like tense. You just feel it does a very good job of making you feel like you're there. And this whole comic was just like,
I'm so glad you said that.
God.
What I was going to say is, I really liked this issue. I was so anxious the entire time. Like, I was so, like, it was very, like from the very beginning, it was very cinematic. So like right here, we'll start with this beginning. Oliver finds out in the very beginning, Thrag just like calls him out of the blue and is just like, hey, so you want me to trust you, huh? Well, I'm sending some people to go kill your brother, and you're not going to do anything about it. And it's like, and then boom,
his family.
Yeah, and he drops the mic, and that's it. And then we're like, and then it goes right to that scene, and we know what's about to happen. So this whole issue was very much like an adrenaline burst. Like
you were just waiting for someone to get ripped in half, or someone to get a fist through them, or something like that. I liked Oliver's reaction where he was like, "Please don't," like, because you don't know if he feels any kind of animosity towards Mark or anything like that, or if he doesn't truly love his family. But this shows the fact that he reacted this way to Thrag shows that he actually doesn't want this to happen. Like, so what does he want? He wants the Viltrumites to actually be an empire.
I think he wants his race to survive. He doesn't want his race to be extinct.
Right, and they'll survive through him and through Mark. But I mean, I just loved his reaction. Like, it was so sincere.
And him saying, like, you know what I've been through, how I've been treated for my efforts, what I've already done. You know,
what has he done?
Yeah, and when Thrag tells him, he looks genuinely upset. You know, please don't.
He's very like matter of fact about it, and he's like,
Thrag is.
He's like, this is gonna fucking happen, and I've already sent them. It's done, and he obviously loves his brother, whether he's on Thrag's side or
and his
either
fucking
way.
niece.
He's saying, listen to me. What if we could make him an ally? You know, make Mark an ally.
Like he's bargaining here.
Don't have to do this. Please don't do this.
And just I love just how the monitor just turns off, and it's like him just left there like helpless.
So do you think Oliver's going to show up in the next issue?
I don't know.
And help him?
I personally don't.
I don't
I know I don't want to talk too much about what we think it's going to.
Well, I mean, we've said it, and I've said before that I think it's painfully obvious what's going to happen. That's what I'm hoping is
not
going to.
That's obvious.
I think it's so obvious
that Oliver's going to help.
Yeah, we had the first 2 pages of all Oliver, right? And then from then on, it was just this scene. So I think that Oliver was setting up what's the ending of this scene, which will be the start of the next one. I'm not saying that I think that that's going to happen. I just feel like that's the obvious thing to happen. So I'm hoping that Kirkman is going to go the other direction.
Yeah. There's a reason why that Oliver scene wasn't in the first place. So Oliver knows that it's going to happen, so he can intervene. Is what you're saying, right?
I'm saying, I hope that the first page of the next comic is not Oliver catching. I always forget her name.
Terra.
Terra, thank you. I'm hoping that that's not the case because I feel like that's obvious.
Here's the thing. I read this as Thrag calling Oliver in the middle of the night because it's him saying, this is happening right now.
Right now, dude.
And I don't think Oliver can even get there quick enough with how fast the upcoming fight scene happens.
Right.
But that being said, if you're right, TJ, and Oliver is there right away, then this scene happened a couple days before or a day before.
It didn't.
I don't think it did. I think we're in agreement of when it's happening, but I think that Oliver just like
you're saying that's a possibility.
He flies there. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Well,
I don't think they're like we don't know how far away they really are.
Yeah.
I mean,
but thinking about it, that would create some interesting tension between him and Mark and Thrag. Like that'd be.
I don't think that this is necessarily just like about killing. We don't like. Thrag said last issue or the issue before. He was like, I found out the whereabouts of Mark Grayson. Let's fucking kill him. But we don't know, like... I think that the reason why he's so intent on killing Mark could be to test Oliver. This is a test. And if Oliver, on the first page of the next issue, is catching Terra, he failed the test. And now Thrag knows where he lies, and that's going to create some shit.
It's not just a test. Mark is the biggest enemy
right.
of the Viltrumite Empire.
But it's 2 birds, 1 stone type of thing. I think that he's got... It's more than just like, we're going to kill this motherfucker because he's causing me issues. He's testing Oliver, too. I think.
I would be interested because of the tension it would cause. Like, Oliver shows up to catch Terra, and Mark's like, what are you doing here? How do you know about this? What's the deal? And then basically Oliver did all that for nothing, and he has to come clean on all the shit he's done over the past 5 years
That's
or
not
so.
Gonna happen.
I would like that if that happened. My only gripe, or not gripe, is the ending. I would, if that were the course that Kirkman were to take, I would prefer that this issue were to end with Oliver catching her and then Mark saying, "What are you doing here?" And then it just ended. And hit, like a look on on Oliver's face like,
Well, we'll come back to the ending in a second. And I like how it cuts right to them playing baseball, and Eve's outside doing the garden. I thought it was funny how Eve was gardening, considering she could just, use her powers and do it. But they're on vacation. They're just,
it's relaxing.
It's something about, that was cool.
So let's just get into the next page. Because this is all just cute and them playing catch. But then...
It's very much like Mark being a dad. Like, go do your homework. Like, we were having fun, but now it's...
And more Terra being, I'm plenty smart. I know all the math.
The saddest part of the entire issue is the next page.
Oh, yep.
Eddie.
There goes Eddie.
Being destroyed. And I just... After Eddie became, less of a teacher and more of a cool friend, you really, really like the robot. And that asshole, what's his name again?
Anand.
And Ursel, right? Anand and Ursel? Okay. So here we are.
Okay, so in that scene where Anand is smashing Eddie, that is a Baltimore baseball cap.
Which you confirmed, is that where...
Isn't that right? I was thinking that when we did the Brit episode, Bill.
Oh yeah, we talked about how he never, ever, ever, ever talks about where he's from.
Yes, and wasn't his hometown Baltimore?
Yeah.
Was it Baltimore?
I don't know. Now we don't know the
I'm pretty sure it's Baltimore. And if that's true, this is cool. Because it's like Terra's wearing her dad's
Wait, what is that? Is that
hat.
a penguin on the hat?
No, I don't know. I don't know baseball.
I don't actually think it's anything, dude. It's like a penguin.
No, it is. I looked it up. It's Baltimore.
Oh.
Baltimore. Is it the Orioles?
Yeah, that's not an Oriole, though. It's a penguin.
Orioles. Yeah, but it's the Orioles logo.
I don't know. I don't know enough.
Ready for this?
Oh, you are 100% right.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So I wonder if that's Corey doing his thing, or if that's the colorist Nathan doing, adding that little bit.
Or Kirkman.
I guess it could be Kirkman. That'd be interesting, though. Wouldn't that be interesting, though, that I'm trying to remember from that episode if Mark did actually grow up in Baltimore, and that's where it took place. This is Terra essentially wearing her dad's hometown team hat. Mm-hmm. I thought that was kind of cute.
When you think about it, he's very close to the government if he was in Baltimore, right? From a flying distance. Mm-hmm. So that would kind of make sense.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean...
No, you're right.
With Cecil and going...
No matter what, it was confirmed in Brit. It was
whether it was
100%
Baltimore or
confirmed.
But it started with a B. It had to be Baltimore.
It's probably Baltimore because it makes sense to me. I don't know.
Okay. Well,
if it wasn't Baltimore, we're making it Baltimore.
So Anand straight up smashes Eddie. Terra's sad about that, obviously. I mean, I was kind of shocked. So we got a death in this issue in a way.
Yeah, we definitely did.
And Terra punching him. You killed my friend. Mark just screaming, freaking out.
Mark is on this page 3 times. And in every single shot, he looks possessed. He looks scary.
Yeah.
If Mark were coming at me with that face,
mm-hmm.
I'd be scared.
Being a dad, and I know I talk about this a lot, I have no fucking idea what I would do in this situation.
Right.
If my daughter or my son were in this type of peril.
Has a dog ever come at him, either of them or anything?
No. I've never been in... Maybe actually at the dog...
in that fight or flight moment where you just...
At the dog park, I just grab my kid and And that's the thing, you don't care about the damage that you're going to cause your child from Because one time, Remy was going to walk out my front screen door and fall down the stairs, and I palmed her face and threw her back, but in a way to protect her.
Yeah.
But I wasn't thinking about the damage that I was causing her. I was thinking about how I was going to protect her,
mm-hmm.
which comes up in this, where Mark's just I don't care if you are a little uncomfortable right now because I have to fucking save your life.
Yes.
So,
interesting.
This...
Yeah, right here. I mean, this one, he throws
her. He throws her.
Yeah. Great. I mean, Corey's doing such an awesome job on Eve. Look at that.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
That
her
bottom
face.
right panel, her face looks awesome.
It does look really good. I think he does Eve really, really well.
Yeah, remember that? It was that first or second issue when she said that there was someone else.
He's got another nice butt. in this too.
Yeah, this is
How we talk about how
so
he draws butts very
is
well.
this the first time you see
Her robot leg.
Ursula? Oh no, she kind of touches down a little bit after Anan destroys Eddie. But yeah, so Ursula goes after Eve and Terra. And I didn't get this the first time. The first time I read this, I assumed that Ursula pulled the leg off.
No, she chopped it off.
Yeah, Eve cut her own leg off to get away. And Terra, Mom, are you a robot? No, just my leg, honey.
Except if I had a Viltrumite chasing after me, I wouldn't be like, no, just my leg. I'd be like, the fucking show my job!
Stop talking!
That's just my leg, honey.
And then creating the bubble, which Ursula smashes pretty easily.
So
Why-
let's talk about that.
why does
Let's
Eve-
talk about that.
Why does Eve rely on creating things like Green Lantern when she can manipulate atoms?
She cannot manipulate humans, though. She cannot manipulate.
But couldn't she
Organic
do a
humans,
lot
like-
more than just fucking create a bubble around her that can break? And even if she were to manipulate atoms, she'd be able to create a mineral or a material that's
a
harder
very
than...
argument. That point can be argued though. Like I would say that you're right, but in this situation, maybe she's not thinking about it. You know what I mean? She's worried about her daughter. She's creating force fields. She's never gone up against anything like this
Right,
before.
she's just being very reactive, not thinking about, oh, what could I do with my powers? But
This is going to bring me to my point. Something that we talked about a couple issues ago was we talked about Eve facing a Viltrumite, and would Eve be able to stand up against a Viltrumite? And we kind of debated that. I think that this kind of proves where we stood on that. Obviously, this is her standing up against a Viltrumite, but who was to say how strong her force fields are or how strong her powers really are standing up against a Viltrumite? Mm-hmm. Now we know when she goes up against a Viltrumite, they can shatter it that easy. And this is a child. I mean, granted, she's being trained by Thrag, who's one of the best, or if not the best, Viltrumite in the universe.
Mm-hmm. I think this issue
makes sense.
says a lot about Eve and how she fights, and there's going to be several times in which we can bring it up. But right here, I think that this is instinctual. She's quickly creating things, barriers. No matter how strong they are, no matter how easily a Viltrumite can stop them, she's just creating something out of nothing to slow them down.
And Ursula's just blasting through every one of them.
But this entire time, Eve is not trying to kill Ursula.
Right.
Eve is trying to stay alive. This is just her being smart, and she does a great job. She holds her own against a Viltrumite. If you were to put them both, at each other, and just one of them has to survive, one kills the other, a Viltrumite should kill Eve.
Not to mention...
Yeah, because based off of this fight, Conquest would fuck Eve up.
Yeah, there's no question.
Eve is carrying a child. Mm-hmm. She has a...
Yeah, all right. And so Ursula would have gotten to her. The next page, Mark stops Ursula. I think this entire time, Eve is playing smart and not giving Ursula a chance to kill her.
Right, I agree, but I also don't forget, Eve died, right? Had a hand through her stomach, healed herself somehow, and so who knows? Maybe Eve can't die, unless
she was able to access a part of her powers that was normally blocked.
Right, exactly. But she threw some sort of energy beam at Conquest that burned his skin off, and that's Conquest. Now
if she had access to that ability, she would be able to.
Which I think...
You think that this is intense enough?
I think it could happen.
The only 2 times we've ever seen it happen was when her entire family was killed, and then her mother, who she had just realized was alive, was killed right in front of her, and then her apparent...
You're talking about the prequel comics.
Yes, in Invincible Presents Adam Eve, and then her pseudo-father was killed right in front of her. And all of that, she managed to, erase the minds of the memories from 2 people.
Right. So
nothing of it all that extreme, but she was able to access that. And then it took her dying to rebuild herself and then burn someone.
But she saw Mark was in danger, and that was the reaction that she had. But maybe she still had that power coursing through her. But that's what I'm saying. She has the ability.
She has the ability
to do that to a Viltrumite. which I want to talk about when we get to the end of this issue.
Okay.
Yeah, because we kind of get that answer because you said, well, the thing is that she has a child in her hand. She has her daughter in her hand.
Yeah, who knows if she didn't? What if she didn't?
We get that answer later in the comic, though. We've seen that.
Yeah,
because Mark takes her,
Yeah.
and then she's fighting.
So right here is when that happens. So Mark saves, Eve and Terra from Ursula, and then they both start charging. Anin and Ursula go to attack Mark. Eve she floats Terra over on some pink energy. She floats Terra over to Mark and just tells them to go. She says, "You're faster than them, just go." And so Mark takes off with Terra, with Anin chasing after him. This was a good scene, and Bill, I know you wanted to talk a little bit more about what's coming up with Mark saying that you need to be brave. I'm going to have to go really fast and go really high. And he's like, "Do you understand? Can you do this? Can you be brave?" And, Terra agrees. And he's like, "Hold on tight." Now, how awesome is this? Because was it the first issue of
It was the
Corey's
first
return
issue, him back, of Mark Grayson being back.
He flies with her, just thinking.
He's like, whoa, chill out.
Yeah, he freaked her out because he didn't realize. And that was a great moment for us to be like, oh, Mark doesn't know how to take care of a kid like this and doesn't realize what she's afraid of. And that was a great foreshadowing / setup for how this was going to play out. Because we wouldn't have known. We know how she reacts. We know how much she can't handle it.
But she blatantly is saying, it hurts.
Yeah.
She's asking her dad to stop. He's going, the speed of sound. He broke this. He's got to be going that fast. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm talking about. The fact that he... And what? It's in this part that... Yeah, look.
Yeah.
Flop, boom, boom. He broke the sound barrier.
Yeah.
He's going faster than a jet carrying a little girl.
And she's screaming, "Please slow down." And Mark's like, "I can't.
Yeah.
I can't."
How could she breathe? I mean, they talk about it, so that's just... It's...
Well, that's happening. We get more Ursula versus Eve. So now, again, like I was talking about before, instead of putting something in her way to slow her down, she does a different method. Instead of the bubble, instead of the wall, she puts just this pink, helmet essentially on top of Ursula. Just
this
another
is one
method.
thing that I always had. I think that most people that aren't Green Lantern fans have problems with Green Lantern. Is why would you create a gigantic machine gun that you got hold on to, all made of green to shoot out bullets? Why not shoot out bullets straight from the ring? It's just weird. So, same thing in this page. Why does it have to look like a submarine head?
It does kind of look like a Big Daddy kind of helmet thing, like a submarine thing. But at the same time, it doesn't look exactly like one. It's just a geometric shaped circle with some squares on it.
But it's got some design to it. It's got a little mohawk to it, some stuff on the side.
It's just interesting, I guess.
You gotta keep it interesting. Just go to ball.
But I agree.
But
TJ,
that's why I don't like Green
Lantern.
Lantern. It's just weird to me.
Yeah.
Right.
But again, I like this. This is Eve being smart. She's not fighting her directly.
It's all defense.
Yes, it's all defense. Exactly, TJ. And of course, Ursula just destroys it, says you're wasting your time. It doesn't really slow her down too much, but Eve gets a chance to get into the house.
And hide, which was the whole point in the first place.
But
just going back, when Mark was fighting Anin, he was fucking him up. And I thought that this was cool because I guess it's... What I like about it is that it's children fighting an adult, and Mark is fucking him up, and he's a kid. I just thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And now he's realizing that he's got to get Terra away, so he's flying away.
So after he breaks the sound barrier, we get Terra saying, "Can't breathe." What, TJ?
I want to talk about this page.
You want to talk about him breaking the sound barrier?
Yeah, or just the full. It's a full page of him breaking the sound barrier. His face very sad. He's totally Terra is screaming right now. This is an awesome page. I really like this page.
It captures the tone.
In commissions and in any kind of art, I love action lines, and I don't know, I love this. How his leg is kind of it's exactly. It's kind of fading out. I think this page is awesome. This would be a cool page to own.
Yeah, and the momentum of this issue is just nonstop, and this was just a really cool moment. And for Terra, for that huge splash page to come back to Terra just being like, can't breathe, and her face literally purple was very intense, because then it quickly goes from high speed action, literally, to very, very emotional and just stopped. Yeah.
Which, you know, if I were Mark and you knew that this guy was coming after and you had an opportunity to fight him like a second ago, why wouldn't you just fucking kill him? Why wouldn't you just take his head in his hands and like just gouge out his eyes?
I think this is happening so quick that he can't yet.
All he's thinking about is Terra.
Yes, all he's thinking about is getting away and protecting her. Which, I mean, maybe he does try that method soon. I mean, next up, Anand catches up, attacks him, and I love, like you were talking about, TJ, the choreography of the fighting in this issue. Anand attacks Mark. Mark loses Terra in front of him, and then reaches out and grabs Terra's foot, swings her behind him, and punches Anand.
Yeah.
Very cool. I thought that was really, really well done. I liked that a lot. But then Mark's saying, I gotta fly again. Take a deep breath. So back to Eve and Ursula. And I'm going to say it again. Eve's fighting smart. I love this because she would not stand a chance against a Viltrumite otherwise. She's hiding beneath the floor of their house and uses the floor to kind of wrap around Ursula. And I just like that a lot. And, you know, Ursula saying, you know, these powers are impressive, but you can't do this forever.
What do you think Eve's talking about?
What, when she says, don't think it'll take forever?
Yeah.
And then Ursula says, I am a Viltrumite. How can you be so confident? I don't know.
I have a question that just kind of popped into my head.
Yeah.
This whole house, everything that was built here, Eve made this out from her powers.
Yeah.
Why isn't she bringing the fucking house down right now? You know what I mean? Like, bringing it all on top of Ursula.
I think that this is more creative. I think this is really cool that she's actually hiding, because she could, just bring the whole house down. But what would Ursula do? The same thing she did to all those pink blocks in her way. She would just smash through it.
Yeah.
This is Eve hiding and then using it to quickly attack.
Right, but if you have the power to use it, why not use it? You know what I mean?
Maybe she would have gotten to that point. We haven't gotten there yet. I think this is still early in the fight.
Maybe,
right.
But she's just like throwing like little dodgeballs at her. You know
Which,
what I mean?
again, she's not throwing footballs.
Right, I
it's just
respect that.
blobs.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's
No,
not
that's
like...
cool.
Okay, so Ursula.
It's not a car.
Yeah.
Once she kind of has Eve cornered and says, "Stupid creature, you were dead the moment my father commanded it. His conquest of the universe is nearly complete. You are but one of millions who will give their lives so that he may rule." And then Eve says, "Then what are you waiting? What are you waiting on? Get it over with. Come on."
And that's the last time we see Eve and Ursula in this issue.
I instantly thought this is how Eve dies, because Ursula's just gonna fly right through her, or Eve has something up her sleeve.
100% she has something up her sleeve or something like that. One thing is certain. They're not going to kill off Eve right before the end of all things.
Why?
If anything, they would kill her during the end of all things.
Yeah, I don't think Eve's threatened here. Which, by the way, look how awesome Eve looks right here. Look at that. Mm-hmm. The last shot we see of Eve. I think neither of your suggestions. I think that Ursula is not going to do it. This last line. First of all, why is she saying, "Why are you wait? What are you waiting on?" Like, clearly Ursula's stalling, or she's stopped. She's frozen there for a second. Get it over with. Come on. And the last panel is her saying, "Come on," and Ursula just kind of staring. Like, she's not angry. She's not flying at her. So is this a moment? So right now, she just got done saying how, "Stupid creature, you know, you are but one of millions." We've seen Ursula stop Anand from mindlessly killing one of these millions from these people
To protect
before.
Anand, though, from Thrag.
Yes, but we've seen a soft side to Ursula, and I think she's hesitating. And that's all I'm going off of. I don't know if she's...
I can
I
agree
don't know
with
why,
that.
but I think she's hesitating.
I think that's what her face is supposed to show.
Yeah, hesitation.
Like the close-up of when Eve says, "Come on," it's the look of... I guess it's hesitation, uncertainty.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that would be pretty interesting. Like
Because there's
Ursula
no way...
being,
Yeah, because there's no way she should survive. Ursula should kill Eve here.
if it happens, it's... Here's the only thing that could happen if you guys don't think that Eve is going to die.
She's not going to.
No.
Is that Eve has something up her sleeve, which who knows what it is. It could be immense power that we're talking about, or Ursula kills her, or Ursula lets her live. And the only thing
or Oliver shows up.
Or Oliver shows up, but we don't think that's going to happen because this is happening right.
We think so, yes.
Yeah.
I think it would be cool if like the next issue opened up with the ending of what's going on with Oliver and Terra, and all of that gets resolved, and then I'm sorry, not Oliver. I meant Mark and Terra. When everything is resolved with Mark and Terra, and they fly back to Eve. Eve's just like still on the ground, just sitting there, and Ursula's gone, and Eve has to explain what happened. Mm-hmm. I think that would be cool. Whatever happens, I think it would be cool if we didn't see it.
Yeah,
that's kind of typical Kirkman. But
that's okay. I'm alright with that.
I like that though. That's why we're fans of Kirkman. I think that's his kind of style.
My thing with that though is we know what the next issue cover is, and we're going to get to that when we get to the end of this. Mm-hmm. But I think that's going to tie into it as well.
I don't think it's fair to say that Eve or someone major can't die before the end of all things. Why not? That could be a major driving force for Mark in the end of all things for whatever's to come. So you seriously you have what are the percentages, Ryan, of Eve dying next issue? 0?
5% she dies.
TJ?
I'm saying 10, which is still extreme. Just because it's more than him, don't get it confused. I do not think she's going to die.
Okay.
I'm saying 10%.
Neither one of you win the showcase.
Oh,
I think it's higher than that. Yeah. When I read this, instinctively I was like, "Oh wow, they're gonna kill Eve."
Really? Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because that's what I think. I think that they could kill her.
This is how Eve is going to die.
Why not? At Ursula's hand.
The children, she stood up against Conquest. She stood up against Angstrom Levy.
She got Angstrom Levy's fucking nothing. He's. Okay,
he just ripped her fucking leg off. Are you kidding me?
Right.
That was Robot.
Oh, that was Robot.
Yeah. Edit it out. Edit it out. All I'm saying is that there's a high possibility that she could die. Oh my God, TJ.
Oh no. Oh no.
I'm drunk.
Okay. So, next page.
Yeah, so next is, Anand catching up to Mark and Terra again. And isn't it just Mark saying he has to go faster again? He has to fly away again. And it's Anand catching up to Mark.
Mark says, I have to go faster. Guy's almost as fast as me.
Yeah.
Which shows his power.
Well, with as fast as Mark is going with Terra. Do you think Mark was going max speed with Terra?
No. I
don't know if he... Yeah. But he's almost as fast. So he's not as fast as Mark. He could get away, but it's too dangerous with Terra. And I love this next scene with another... Oh, this was so cool. Anand grabbing Mark, and Mark losing Terra again, kicking Anand, and then throwing Terra around his back. And I love this last panel of Mark, ready to fight with Terra on his back.
And saying, hang on to my back. And she says, I can't. And he said, I'm sorry, Terra, but you're going to have to.
So again...
And then him in a fighting stance with his fists up and her on his back.
Oh, guys! Why the fuck haven't we thought of this? Seriously? So the next thing... Oh, no, I'm sorry. Can I talk about the end? I mean, it's just more of them fighting and stuff like that. And then he says, and then he drops her. She's going to fly.
Yeah, so that's what Mike Barrett texted me and suggested. I disagree. I don't think she's going to get her powers. I don't know. I'm torn on that. So we get a cool fight scene with Mark fighting Anand with Terra on his back, which I thought was really cool. And I wish we could have seen more. Anand's face when Mark punches him is really cool looking. But ultimately, Anand knocks Mark out, and Mark freaks out and says, I'm going to kill you, you monster. And Anand lets go of Terra, and she goes falling while Anand is holding Mark back.
For the record, because it's on record, we did talk about this, because I said that I thought that she was going to get her powers. You guys
now?
disagreed.
In this issue?
Yeah, no, Bill's saying now. Yeah.
But
I know we have.
I'm saying the last issue, I think was the last one we talked about.
Yeah, I think it was brought up. Yeah.
Oh, we talked about her getting her powers during the fight and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Well, this would be a perfect setup.
It would be
her falling.
If it's not Oliver, it's. I agree that it's probably the powers.
So it's either Eve, Ursula. Well, here let's go over some options because I kind of like this. I kind of like this idea.
Okay.
What are all of our options?
So real quick before we get into that,
Let's finish up, and then we'll talk about the ending. Or what we think
this
is next.
isn't... All right, no, then Bill, you do it. What were you saying? What are the options? You think that...
Well, I mean, we go to the last page. The last page, him saying, crap, I really was hoping...
You'd say let her go.
You would say let her go. And then he lets her go, and Terra is falling.
Mm-hmm.
The end.
So let's pretend that we're Kirkman, and we're writing this.
Mm-hmm.
Because in his head, he has a bunch of ideas in his head, but he's going to go with one. So what are all the ideas?
Possibilities.
What are all the possibilities?
I don't think that that's what happened, though. I think that Kirkman had an idea of where he wanted to go, and then he wrote his way there.
So let's just throw all the possibilities out there so we're right with one of them.
All right, Terra gets powers and can fly.
Okay, 1.
That's a
2,
possibility.
Oliver comes
2,
and saves
Oliver
her somehow.
catches her. 3, Mark manages to punch on in, get away, and fly down
Which
and catch him.
would be boring, but almost not boring because one of those things are obvious.
4, Eve somehow
I say
manages to
Ursula
catch...
and Eve are in the same category.
Okay.
Ursula or Eve.
Yes, but I think more with our previous, discussion about how Ursula leaves and Eve manages to catch her, and we find out that how were you able to catch her? Oh, she left.
Exactly.
Like that. So I say Eve / Ursula. Yeah. So those are all the people.
Or she dies.
Or she dies. That's literally everyone. We know she's not going to die. There's no way she dies.
Bill has been an advocate for saying that she's going to die.
I know.
Mm-hmm. Or Eve. But now that we've laid all of the options, and there's got to be another option. Maybe that blue creature comes out and fucking stops time or something like that.
I think laying down all the options was smart because until we did that, I didn't think that she would get her powers. But that is probably the best option.
one, right? Or Eve catching her, like you see Pink.
So let's go with percentages.
Okay.
My percentage of her getting her powers are at 48%.
Okay.
I think
That's
Oliver
not bad.
catching her is at 48%. And then everything else is in that 2%.
You think that Oliver catching her has more of a
remaining
chance
4%,
of Eve catching her?
No, I'm saying it's all jumbled up in that
TJ's saying
4%
it's
that it's
either
not worth
most
talking
likely
about.
going to be Oliver
One of the two.
or Eve.
And then like 1% Mark catching her, and then like less than 1% that it's going to be Eve, or
Right.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
And then like 0.5 is Tech Jacket comes in and is like, hey, what's going on over here on this side of the galaxy?
Rexplode.
Ryan, what do you think?
Jeez, when Mike Barrett said, "Oh, you think she's gonna get her powers?" I was like, "No, not yet." But the more I think about it, the more I'd be okay with that. But I'm not sure because she seems a little young. Mark got his when he was a teenager.
She's also threatened right now. Like she's
That's
in a position where she's going to die.
That's
She
true.
has to fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen Sky High?
Yeah. So the other. How many times are we going to bring up Sky High on this podcast?
It's a great
At
movie.
least a few
So
more
we have
times.
an announcement to
great
make.
movie.
The next podcast that we're going to do is a Sky High podcast.
Where we just talked about Sky High.
But there's going to be a sequel, so we'll have more to talk about.
There's gotta be a sequel.
I don't know,
It's the
maybe.
Sky High cast.
That would be cool. I like that cast.
Every 10 minutes of the movie, we'll stop and talk about those 10 minutes.
I would listen.
Oh boy. Okay, so here's another thing to think of. Cory Walker helped create Invincible and drew Mark getting his powers. This would be a cool final issue because the next issue is Cory Walker's final issue.
So
That would be kind of
Terra
great.
getting her powers.
Yeah. I previously wanted it to end with Mark putting his costume on. And that would be awesome if Cory got to draw that, going back to his yellow and blue, which I still think could happen. But that and her getting her powers, I don't know. It seems like
That's a lot in one
I think
issue.
her getting her powers is a big issue. Not saying that the next issue isn't a big issue, but
From a Cory Walker
Wow.
Cory Walker perspective, he's only ever drawn Terra the way that we see her. We've seen her as a baby, obviously, but after reboot, when was Ottley still on it?
Mark, when she said, "Are you my daddy?" That was the only time we saw
That Ottley actually
Otley's.
drew her as she is now. Then that kind of negates what I'm saying.
Yeah. Go ahead, Bill.
What if this happens?
Oh boy.
This is another thing. We could talk about this for a while, I think. What if she... Oh, I fucking hope this happens. What if she
just hits the ground.
Hits
and
the
she's
fucking ground.
Super strength,
and you
not
think,
quite.
and then she there's
Crawls
like a
out.
crater, and then she like kind of crawls out of the crater, like, hey, what's going on?
Because I was thinking that. I was like, well, why would her flight and not her super strength? Mark got it all
or
at the
her
same time.
invulnerability. Like, I think that would be fucking awesome because you see her hit the ground, wud, right? You see wud in the distance, and Mark's like devastated,
And
then
he rips
just goes
Anin in half.
berserk,
Yep.
and then.
Well, here's the thing. You're right because he has.
No,
this,
I like Alan.
No, this is but this is what I predicted before. And what I think was crazy about this issue is we all assumed that this issue would be over really, really fast. And I thought it was interesting.
was.
No. I meant this fight would be over really fast. Sorry, not this issue. I thought this fight would be wrapped up by the end of this issue, probably halfway through this issue. I think that we had predictions of what was going to happen in this fight. I still think that Mark is going to kill Anin. And the cover, if we look at the cover for the next issue, is Thrag covered in blood with a bloody hand. I think that somehow next issue, Ursula is going to bring Anin's body back to Thrag.
Okay, but why would Thrag have
Care. Why would he care?
Because it's his son. Why would Thrag
He has
have
a million of them.
blood spatter on his face? I think
You're right.
I think that cover insinuates that Oliver is going to try and stop him. Thrag is going to stop and intercept Oliver and beat the piss out of him.
I think that's more likely. I don't think that Thrag gives a shit about Anin or Ursula. I don't think he does.
I'm going to go on the record and I'm going to say 100% my guess is that the issue is going to start with Terra hitting the ground and everyone being like, "Oh my God, she's dead." Mark seeing it, and then there's a whole other issue of Anin and Mark fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's another fucking fight scene.
I can't remember what issue it was. I think it was like 128 maybe, and it was the cover was Thrag like on a throne, and it was very prominent.
Oh yeah,
and it's
with
got
Ursula and Ursula and all the
on the
aliens.
side.
in the first,
And
like,
they were in the middle of the issue. He was in the middle of the issue on half a page. One time he was drawn one time in the entire issue.
Mm-hmm.
I think again going back to what we said in the beginning of the podcast.
Covers
mean nothing.
But that was him on a throne with his kids and all these alien creatures at their feet. That issue started off with his kids destroying a planet, and Thrag in the command center like, yeah, wait till they see what I do next. That does embody that cover in a way.
So Thrag needs to be in the next issue.
I think that it's symbolic.
Thrag will be in the next issue, for
The
sure.
covers can be symbolic of what's going to happen. I think he has blood on his hands. I think that's all that this is showing is that he has... Bless you. I think all that this is showing is that Thrag has blood on his hands. Whether whoever's blood it is, I don't think that he's necessarily going to be there. So, Bill, you've been the one that's doing this. Go ahead and read the next issue.
Are you reading Outcast?
Rude. First of all,
Are you reading Outcast?
No, I'm not reading Outcast. Okay. Next issue. Thrag makes a move that will change everything. This cataclysmic event. Fuck.
You never get it on the first try.
The cataclysmic events of the issue lead directly into the 12-part epic. End of all.
So you're basically just reading it now. You're not even doing it in a cool way. Nobody likes you.
Thrag makes a move that will change everything. The cataclysmic events of this issue lead directly into the 12-part epic. End of all things.
Thank you, Bill. So that's interesting. Thrag makes a move that will change everything. If we're referring to him sending Anna and Ursula, then he already made a move. Do you think so? Maybe he will do something next issue. Maybe he will show up. Maybe I don't know.
He and Oliver are gonna fight.
That'd be interesting.
What
if Oliver goes to Thrag instead of to where Mark is?
He doesn't know where Thrag is. Remember because Oliver in one of the issues was
he wanted his location.
like
What if Thrag shows up on the first page and catches Terra and rips her in half?
What if
Right, that's the other option.
What if
That's
Thrag
the other-
was hiding in Oliver's closet the entire time with like a little laptop?
I was right behind you.
Yeah.
Right behind you.
I was here the whole time. But that's exactly what's gonna happen.
I
Terra's
like
gonna
the
hit the
idea
ground.
of her hitting the ground. I think that has bumped to the top of my list of what I think is going to happen. That's most likely. I think she's hitting the ground more likely than her flying.
I agree. 100%,
Because I think it'd be
100%.
interesting if she was invulnerable, for the next 10 issues or so, rather than not being able to fly. Like she has invulnerability.
I mean, this is like fan fiction right now. But the way that Mark is like grabbing her arm and throwing her around and stuff like that would probably tear Riker in half or dislocate his arm, and she's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Interesting stuff, but exciting. So we should be getting next issue before the end of February. We should have 2 issues before the end of February. And I feel like that's a pretty safe guarantee.
Yeah.
Nothing is ever a safe guarantee with this book.
133 is Cory Walker's last issue, right?
32, the next issue.
Oh.
Yeah, there's only one more Cory Walker. That's what I'm saying.
133 is the return of Ottley.
Having Terra get her powers or Mark getting his costume in Cory Walker's final issue would be awesome.
It would be. And something has to happen. Like,
yeah, it's the ending. It's an ending of an arc.
Yeah, this is
something
going to be
crazy
the end
is going to
of
happen.
Hardcover volume 13,
right.
12, whatever. I think it's 12.
It ends after the huge fight and then her climbing out of the crater that she fell into.
Mm-hmm. So this is going to be big. So next issue, and we know that after next issue comes out, Ryan Ottley's been banking issues, so he should be caught up. Have a good lead, and I think they even say so in the.
If it is even the artist that is delaying this, it might not even be the artist.
The last thing in Penvencipals is Robert Kirkman saying the good news is that Ryan Ottley is getting more time to get even further ahead of schedule, so it will be smooth sailing very soon. And Cory's last issue ... is going to be great. Yeah. So this is it. I feel like from now on, once 132 comes out, it's
like TJ, you were acting like just because it's a Cory Walker issue and not like the end of all things arc, or so, like nothing crazy could happen. Like,
no, I know that something crazy is going to happen at the end of every arc of pretty much any comic book story. Something crazy happens, or it's a crazy cliffhanger.
I don't think
it's a death.
I don't think having Eve
not
be
around
necessarily for the end of all things. I think that's crazy, and it has nothing to do with it not being a good enough point to do that. I just think that like not having her around for the biggest event, like I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I disagree with what you're saying about Eve dying or things like that, Terra dying. I do think that something crazy is going to happen. I just think that it's not going to be that. I think that's a little too much, especially when we're already ending the series. We're already going into a 12 issue. You know what I mean? Like crazy shit's going to happen in those 12 issues. That would be better spent killing off major characters, I think.
Oliver could die. True. I don't think that's going to happen either.
All right,
but it could. I think that's more likely to happen than Eve or Terra.
So we'll be back in 2 weeks. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Next episode is going to be either a new reader or TJ and Bill alone talking about The Astounding Wolfman Volume 1.
Wolfman.
So if you have not read The Astounding Wolfman...
Read it now and we'll discuss it.
So you guys can...
Because it's very good. It is my favorite of the side stories of Invincible.
And the first volume is very spoilery. Things happen.
Yeah, well, it has that Walking Dead / Invincible moment of like,
they try to get your attention very quickly.
Right.
Yeah, but it's very good. So remember, you can email us at theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com. Find us on Twitter. Find us on Facebook. But yeah, email us. Let us know what you think. Bill, stop dropping Alan.
Stop, drop, and roll.
Yeah, email us. Let us know what you think. We love to hear from you guys. And that does it for us. Bye.
Bye.